Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 10, I've got a list of my top running backs on the week. They're not in any particular order. In fact, the first thing that we do is we sort them by the 5-box running backs of the week. And there are a lot of them this week. I have 6 5-box running backs. The 5 boxes that I am most concerned with, that I want to check off for every one of the running backs that I am looking at is, and look, you can play guys that aren't, right? But like these are back-tested kind of trends that lead to higher fantasy point output than expectation. And the boxes are they playing at home? Home running backs tend to do better than running backs on the road. Are they favored, especially favored by 7 or more points? Do they have an expectation of 20 plus touches? Do they have work in the passing game? And do they get those high leverage? Dean! My old co-host, Dean, thank you very much for the $100 donation to No Kid Hungry. We'll get into that in a minute. You can always go to smizzle.tv/charity if you wanted to donate. But Dean threw me off. The high leverage inside the 5 carries is what we're looking for. That's the 5th box. That's what we're going to check off. If you want to play these guys, great. If you want to avoid all these guys, also great. Do whatever it is that you want to do. I don't care who you play. I try to help you figure out how you should play to make you a better daily fantasy player. So thank you for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below with a running back that I didn't mention that you seem to be into this week. And let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League for Week 10 is posted. Smizzle.tv/league is the link. It will be down below in the description. You can go to smizzle.tv/links and find links to literally everything that I do. And if you wanted to throw me a solid, I'm 4 followers away from 6,000 followers on Instagram. If you want to jump over there, there's some fantasy stuff. There's pictures of my kids. There's dumb things. There's NFTs. There's whatever else that you want there. Do me a solid. Drop me a follow over on IG. Austin EKELER, the cover boy. So I put him up first because, you know, why not? Going up against the Minnesota Vikings in a game that does tend to lend itself to being a back and forth contest. Now, Minnesota has been more friendly to opposing wide receivers. They're like the 6th most Draftkings points against in the league to opposing wide receivers and the 2nd most coming to this week. So EKELER's going to be popular because he's a really good running back, gets the inside the 5 carries, typically very involved in the passing game, although this 3 targets against Philly, who was equally bad against opposing running backs, especially through the air, is somewhat baffling. So I think this is a great bounce back spot for EKELER this week in a game that I think is one of my favorite to target as far as games that could shoot out. So Austin EKELER at 7,600. DraftKings has kind of ratcheted up the pricing on a lot of the running backs. You're going to notice this through the 5-box segment. NAJEE Harris coming off of just another 25 plus touch game. Volume is king, boys and girls, and that's what we need to be focusing on. He hits everything that we want and gets the Lions, who are the 2nd most giving team to opposing running backs in the league in terms of DraftKings points allowed. 5th most over the past 4 weeks, so it's not like it's getting any better for them. We know that Harris is going to get a heavy dose, and look, he's less than 8K, slightly, 7,900, 21 points, 24 points, 25 points, 21 points, 19 points in week 2. He's just an absolute machine in terms of how they're going to feed this kid. Now, the offensive line is somewhat leading to, or lacking, they're not good. But like when you get this much volume, that volume really outweighs, you know, the inefficiency per carry. I'd rather him get more targets because targets are, you know, worth more than a rush attempt. But as they've been playing from ahead, they are going to just lean on him a ton. I expect him to get his 25 touches once again this week. High touchdown expectation, 1 each in the last 4 games. And this game against the Lions is going to be no different. Jonathan Taylor has been on fire. Light but consistent work in the passing game. Big playability that is like, I'm not going to say unrivaled because there's 2 other guys in the league that kind of have that sort of big playability on a week in, week out basis at the position. Derrick Henry has done it as much as him. He's not playing. Nick Chubb has also shown that he may not play. So that might leave Jonathan Taylor as the best high volume, big splash running back left on the board. leading the league in terms of inside the 5 carries, so massive touchdown expectation anytime the Colts get close. Jacksonville has done nothing but allow teams that aren't named the Buffalo Bills to just march up and down the field at their leisure. So Taylor has his expectation of 20 touches, has a really high expectation for a touchdown, as well as usage in the passing game. This is another great spot for JT. James Conner is a 5-box running back this week. Now, a lot of people are trying to throw back in my face what I said earlier in the year when Edmonds was a thing. When Chase Edmonds is a thing, you can't play James Conner. You can't do it, right? Because when you win, when he scores those 2 touchdowns, you really don't get much. But now, in his absence, now Edmonds left this game in the first 5 minutes. He is not expected to play. He's got an ankle sprain. He's going to be out. So basically, Connor's not going to handle 100% of the usage at running back, but he was handling 49.6% of the running back touches on Arizona. Edmonds leaves that game. They still had Eno Benjamin, who handled 25% of the carries in Edmonds' absence, but Conner handled 76% of the running back snaps, over 75% of the running back touches, was involved in the passing game. He had 5 targets in week 9. In the previous 8 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's absurd. So if James Conner is going to be that 20 touch guy, that 75% snap guy at 6,300, and against Carolina's defense, it has not been great, and he's still going to get all the touchdown upside from playing in a good offense and being the inside the 5 running back, because they do not want to run Kyler around the goal line if it is Kyler who plays this week. I'm expecting him to be back, but maybe he's not. But they operated just fine with Colt McCoy at quarterback last week. James Conner is going to get a whole hell of a lot of touches inside the 5-yard line. So James Conner at 6,300, kind of a plug and play this week. Ezekiel Elliott at 7,000. Now this is a monitor as the week goes on situation. Yes, home, favored, all the things. 20 plus touches. Falcons have allowed what? 2, 4, 6, the 6th most points on DraftKings to opposing running backs on the year, 7th most over the past 4 weeks. He left this last game against Denver with a knee contusion. If that doesn't massively swell up, and he is in this situation again where he's going to get a heavy dose, then great. Ezekiel Elliott 7,000 is fine. If Ezekiel Elliott is out, it clears a path to, like, we might have a value tsunami this week, right? If Ezekiel Elliott is out, Tony Pollard is 4,600, and Tony Pollard would get 75% of the running back snaps and touches for the Dallas Cowboys, and this would be a monstrous spot for him against Atlanta. I am operating under the assumption that Ezekiel Elliott is in, so he's the 5-box guy. It would be Tony Pollard if he's out. Aaron Jones is the final guy on the list, and I understand if you've got some trepidation cooking and you don't want to play Aaron Jones, coming off of a week that we thought that he would kind of smash with, Aaron Rodgers out. They might have to lean on the run a little bit more. The role for AJ Dillon is palpable. It's solid, and it's eating into Aaron Jones's carries, his touchdown upside, and he's not being as consistently used in the passing game as we would like. It kind of fluctuates. Like, he's had a good usage if you look at the total for the year, but it hasn't been consistent. 2, 6, 2, 4, 5, 11, 2. Like, it really yo-yos up and down. So there's a lot more variance when you look at Aaron Jones than I would like to. Now, if you have profited at all this year, if you had a big week in week 9, if you did well on Showdown, or if you've benefited at all from the content that I have put out on this channel this year or over the years, please take a couple of seconds. Go to smizzle.tv/charity. You saw my old co-host Dean Shavelson donating $100. We're trying to raise $25,000 over the course of the entire calendar year. We are above 17,000 and rapidly approaching 18,000. When we hit 20, I will add another 10 by myself. When you guys hit 25,000, I'll add an additional 10,000. My matches are every 5,000 and will total, if we get all the way there, $40,000 just from me if you guys can get to 25,000 as a community. So 25,000 from you plus 40,000 from me, 65,000 possible to go to No Kid Hungry. 1 in 6 kids suffers from food insecurity, and let's see if we, the Smiz gang, can do something about that. Couple of other running backs, not 5-box guys, but solid plays. Uncle Lenny, coming off of bye week, going up against Washington, really high total. They project to play from ahead. Washington has not been a very good defense this year, although they are better against the run in terms of efficiency than they are against the pass. But Fournette, more involved than anybody ever thought that he would be in the Buccaneers passing game, and a lot of touchdown upside at 6,100. Not sure that we need him because we have a lot of value. Javonte Williams finally had that he's getting that blast off spot. Now, I think that Evan Silva was talking about this, and I totally agree that as the season wears on, Melvin Gordon III is approaching he's in a contract year and approaching free agency. I could see him as the season wears on, unless, and I have not looked into this, unless there's some incentive based big paydays for him in his contract. Once they get to those, I could see him saying, you know what, shut me down, let me go into the offseason healthy so that I can sign a bigger contract in the offseason, and them kind of ramping up the usage for Javonte. One of the best running backs in the league in terms of yards after first contact, broken tackles, evaded tackles. He is the real deal, and as this 0 targets would mask, is way better in the passing game, but they were up like 30-0, so there's no reason for them to throw the ball. This looks like more of a game where when you attack Philly, you attack them with your running backs, but they've allowed the most targets and receptions to opposing backs in the league. The problem with Philly right now is that they're playing a little bit slower because they're running a ball a ton the last 3 weeks, so they went from a heavy pass offense to more of a heavy run offense. That could mean less plays in this game, but Javonte Williams at 5,000 doesn't need much in order to get there. Love the upside with this kid based on volume, potential, talent, and possible touchdown upside. But D'Ernest Johnson is kind of I'm burying the lead at this point. With Nick Chubb currently out for COVID testing reasons, he is vaccinated, so if he can get 2 negative tests by the weekend, he will be eligible to play on Sunday. But D'Ernest Johnson right now kind of looks like Will Smith on the Fresh Prince in Bel-Air when they move out of the house in Bel-Air, where he's just kind of looking around for everybody, because like Nick Chubb's out, and the other running back, the Felton, is on COVID, also vaccinated, could be back by Sunday. Kareem Hunt is out. We know what happened the 1 week that there was no Kareem Hunt and no Nick Chubb. 24 touches for D'Ernest, now goes up against New England. In New England, if he is the only show in town, 4,700 for an expectation of 20 touches in a very run-heavy offense with a good offensive line and solid pass weapons on the outside to maybe help him run a little bit more against lighter boxes. And he's looked good anytime he's touched the ball since he started touching it in week 7. D'Ernest Johnson at 4,700 does look like a free square in case Nick Chubb misses. And Devin Singletary, if Zach Moss misses this game, you're not going to get 20 touches out of Singletary, but he's 4,700 as well. Like I said, absolute value tsunami. In the absence of Moss, when he left that game due to concussion protocol reasons, 8 targets. That was a really close game. We know that we want to attack the New York Jets with running backs. The most fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs on the year, and it's not even close. Like 30% more fantasy points to opposing running backs than the second place team. They've allowed like 39 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs, and the next best team, or the next worst team, I guess, allows 30. So on average, it's ridiculous how bad that Jets defense has been, specifically against the running back position. Now, the Bills aren't a team that highlights the running back, but you have a big time upside here with him when it comes to like pass catching, touchdown expectancy, if Moss does not play. So that's the video for this week. Thank you guys very much for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have a couple of bucks, every dollar helps. smizzle.tv/charity. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.